All right, I think I'm live. Hey, everybody out there in Fiddle Jam land. Outlaw Fiddle Man here. Joffrey Fisher Perry with a crazy hairdo today. My Guitarathon shirt on. Got for free. So, I am clueless today. Worn out, been going a million miles an hour. Burning the candle at both ends and the middle a little bit. And so I'm not sure what to talk about, but I think we can always play, and maybe we'll stumble on something that's good. People like, I think it's valuable to do the call and answer stuff and call, rhythm call and answer. Maybe we'll stumble onto something good. So what's the favorite key for today? Let's see here. I love my Nilling planetary tuners. They're awesome. Everybody should get them. Or get a violin that already has them on. They're geared tuners. Doesn't change the sound of the violin at all. It looks about the same. Can you see? It looks the same as ones on a regular violin. And they're way more consistent. You can tune as needed. It sound like a bagpipes. You'd never dare do that on a regular friction tuner. I don't care if you got $1 million Stradivarius or not. These are awesome. There is a competitor, Whitner, which I bought some pegs for some of my electric violins. I haven't used them yet, to be honest, though. They have a different turning ratio. I think the Whitner are 8-to-1, and these are 4-to-1 ratio. So the Whitner might be better at fine tuning, but it's not a big deal here. So I can install them on your fiddle if you want to come to my shop in Melrose, Florida, or I put them in all of my electric violins. So this violin has them too. Has them on this violin. The Outlaw Fiddle #1. This was pretty cool. I'm currently working on number 4, 5, and 6 in my shop. I'm gonna make an arch top one. All the ones so far were flat with a little bevel on the edge. And I thought it was modern, and one person said maybe it looked cool with an arch top. It's a lot more work to make one with an arch top, but I'm going to try one. I had a board that was 1/2 inch thick, so I'm, sloping it on either side and making my programs for my CNC machine helper to help do that. So, you know what I love? I've mentioned swamp fiddle before, and I was doing a lesson earlier and it came up again, so I'm going to do that now. Let's try G or D. I'm thinking. Let's go with D. D is a popular practice key. There's your tonic D. Now, swamp fiddle. What was I talking about? If you're with me other weeks, I've touched on this. It's the cool stuff that's between the cracks and can't really be written. It's where minor pentatonic and major pentatonic get smushed together. So what? So if you remember from before, we have D major scale. If you've been playing the violin for any more than a couple months, you probably know that one. And so what we do to make it pentatonic, 5, pentagon, pentatonic is 5-note scale. We get rid of the 4th and the 7th note. So first note, second note, third note, skip the 4th, 5, 6, skip the 7. Right away it sounds more sing-songy, folky. Right? Sounds very friendly, doesn't it? That's major pentatonic. There's a minor pentatonic as well. I'm not going to get into the relative stuff too much, but I'm going to get into the parallel minor pentatonic. So parallel scales would start in the same tonic. So the parallel minor to D major pentatonic is D minor. So instead of We got D minor. But it depends on what minor. So if you've also watched here before, the formula for a minor pentatonic or blues scale is skip the 2 and the 6 and lower the 3rd and the 7th. So first note, skip the 2nd, lower the 3rd, 4th stays the same, 5th, skip the 6th, lower the 7th. Just so happens it's got a cool easy zone, as I call it, easy zone. Open, low 2, 3, open, low 2, 3, fingering. Guitarists do it all the time. They learn patterns on the fingerboard, just move them around. It's not as easy to move patterns around on the violin, but we can take our patterns and go, oh, that's simple. Why would I teach you something so simple? It's because not to dumb it down for you because you're too stupid to get it. It's not the idea. It's to make us not think too much. It's always the key to creative endeavors is not over intellectualizing it. Usually our art or our artistry or our creativity gets dulled down and gets not as pure and good and not as joyful when we're thinking too hard about it. When we get it from the heart or hear from the heart and come out our fingers, and it tends to come out more intuitively, more naturally, more gracefully, more powerfully in my experience. And it reaches, when you're doing it, not only make you feel better, but make other people who are listening better in my experience too. Make them feel better. So we got so far 2 scales. D blues. It's actually the blues when you put the flat 4, or the lowered 4th finger to the flatted 5th of the key. The 5th note is A, so A flat on the D string. Not requirement, but if you want to play that note, you can. So we got that blues scale, the D blues scale, and we also have, we started with D major pentatonic. Very fiddly sounding, isn't it? So how do you mix them together? Well, I don't really play them as a scale mixed together, although I've named that scale, even though it doesn't have a name. I call this D Mixo-Bluesian. It's kind of mixed up. It's kind of Mixolydian mode. It's kind of blues scale. It's as good name as any other, I guess. But I don't normally go... It's not that interesting of a scale. Doesn't mean much when you do it that way, if you ask me. But when we use it musically, it's kind of cool. What I do in my mind, if it's a D major chord that's the background is playing, I would focus on major pentatonic, but I'd throw in the blues notes, the differences, different ones, and it's a sliding note, sliding to or from, and it becomes real swampy and bluesy. So what are the differences? Well, we have 1, 2, we have flat 3 and 3. So if the 3rd note is the main one, we use the flat 3 to slide into it. I found out later that in the blues, it's not even important whether you're on one or the other. It's not classical trained people go, oh, that's just out of tune. No, you can just kind of slide them around quickly, and it doesn't have to be. It's actually kind of cool when it's not exactly in tune on the 3rd. If you want to do it all up to the 3rd, you can. If you want to do it part way, it's okay. So that's one trick. Now we had the 4, the flat 5, and the 5. You can slide the flat 5 to the lowered 4th finger up to the regular 4th finger, and then play open it. If they're not exactly the same pitch, it doesn't even matter in the blues. Listen to Chuck Berry, the famous guitar player from the 50s and 60s. I mean, he did that. That's his famous. While he did that duck walk across the stage. So we got so far 1 and D, 2, flat 3, slide into 3, 4, flat 5, slide into 5, 6, 7. And you can start a little low and slide into that too. Any finger you want. You can slide anything. Slide up the octave. Now, when we do the fiddly thing, we often put in drone strings. So that'd be the root or the fifth of that key, right? So in the key of D, the root is, of course, D. The fifth note is D, E, F, G, A. It's always straight across in the violin. It happens we're on an open string key, so it's the next open string. So D and A are the drone notes, the preferred drone notes in this key. So if you throw in those strings anytime with any of those notes, it becomes this cool swampy thing. Check it out. Isn't that cool? So, is there a name for this scale? Technically, no, there's not. But all pro players kind of do this that are in the bluesy, Cajun-y, fiddly thing. It crosses over into rock music too. I love it. I glom onto these things being probably an early overthinker. Learned to weed that out of my brain. And learn to champion the stuff that can't be quite written. I like the rhythms that can't quite be written, like, you know, swing and shuffle rhythms that aren't exactly, you know, and divided by 3 all the time. Can't be written. I think that's cool. And these kind of scales that are major and minor, kind of swimming around between them, I think that's cool too. It's where the magic is, I think. So, and the styles that feature that are Cajun Zydeco music, they are blues, like I said, they are some rock and roll, early rock and roll for sure, in like the Elvis Presley era and the Chuck Berry, like I mentioned, and you know, Little Richard, those kind of things. The early rock and roll were very blues oriented. They had a lot of this stuff too. And country music, of course, if there's a fiddle in the band, they're doing some of this stuff too when it's a major chord kind of thing. Now, of course, the chords will move around. You should know a bunch of keys, but you definitely should know G, D, and A for sure. So we just did D. Let's try G. To review, we got the G major scale. We got the root, the second of G, sliding into the third. 4, sliding into the 5, 7, and I encourage you to mess around with this stuff. So we got G. Now so far we're just in the 1 octave for each one. You should know all these scales across your whole first position at least, and expand beyond the 1 octave. But right now we're just doing 1 octave. How about A? Same stuff. Of course, there's 2 string below. You can do it with the key of A as well. But second note, slide to third, slide to fifth, slide to seventh. That's a good riff right there. Flat 3 to 3, and open. The next is the drone string, the fifth. Try it. I drag this bow across the 2 strings. Let's try the same thing with the fifth. So the E flat, the low 4, and the A string sliding up to E. We're doing both of them there. So the flat fifth, sliding up and then hitting the fifth. 4 times, 5 times, and then slide the third. Again, 2, 3, 4. And again. Aren't those riffs cool? I love it. I glommed onto it for sure. Bonnie Raitt is another artist that comes to mind. If you listen to Bonnie Raitt's guitar playing in her band, they got this stuff going on in spades. She's the famous slide guitar player, the redhead. My wife just about worships her and turned me on to her. I'm glad she did. Anyway, it's a kind of rock and blues mixture, country-ish, little country, but mostly rock and blues mixed together. Check her out. So now, usually these three keys, G, D, and A, are often together in one song. If you haven't studied much music theory, there is the three main chords in that chord number system. It's called the 1-4-5. If you're a classical violinist, you probably learned the tonic, the dominant, and the subdominant as the 1, the 5, and the 4. There, as I just said it. But in we don't call them that. That's your nerd speak. If you're in a blues band, you just call it the 1, 4, and 5. The first chord built out in the D major scale. The fourth built from the chord built from the fourth note of the D major scale, and the chord built from the fifth note. So the chord built from the first note, every other note, that's the D chord. If you're a classical violinist, you probably studied arpeggios. That's the notes of the chord broken up. All right, and the G. That's GBD everywhere. And the A. Should know these, but let's just not think too hard about it. Now, a good song might be maybe 4 bars on D, then go to G. D, 2, 3, 4, A. Come back to D. So 4 bars in each. We're going to go D, which is the 1 chord, G, which is the 4 chord, back to D, which is the 1 chord, and then to A, which is the 5 chord, which is the strongest second last chord you can have. It always wants to lead back to 1. You'll hear that. So we're going to try some riffs. See. So I'll try to. Do that same riff on G. Back to D. Get what you can. A now. D then. Sounds like a song. Let's do 2 bars each. It's kind of long. I think you got same riff. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. To G. Back to D. Hang of it. Let's try that other riff. So we had. See, what was it? 3, 4. That's what it was. Okay. I'm going to do that D twice, G twice, D twice, A twice, back to D. With a little swingy shuffle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. Sounds like a country song to me. A blues song almost. It's not blues, but Sounds like something, isn't it? We just made it up in the spot here. So this swampy thing, I do it so often. I mean, sometimes when I turn the video on for videos, you hear me. That's all that stuff. That was just in G, messing around across the first position with major pentatonic with minor notes sliding in and stuff. So that's it. That's that kind of sound. If you want that kind of fiddly, bluesy, swampy sound, that's where it comes from. So I hope these lessons are of interest and of use to people. I try to throw out something of use each week. And if you're interested at all, and you followed this far, you can go to the Fiddle Jam Institute and see more. There is a playlist somewhere on YouTube here where you'll see the previous weeks. I've been doing it about 14 or 15 weeks now, something like that. And try and give something of value for a short lesson each week. From the Fiddle Jam Institute. I know the name of this channel is Outlaw Fiddle Jam. I mixed my two businesses together. I have the Fiddle Jam Institute, the online school, of course, and the book Fiddle Jam, Way Cool, Easy Way to Learn How to Improvise. It's out all over the world by the Hal Leonard Corporation. And I also have a business that makes these fiddles. I keep showing them off. I showed it off from the beginning. This was number one. It was my own. I think I've made some better ones than this one, actually, but this one looks pretty cool, doesn't it? And I'll be showing it off when I get things rolling here a little more too. If you want one, they're for sale, contact me. I can make you one. I'm currently making, haven't made that many yet. They sound pretty darn good if you ask me, and look way cool. It's a new thing with the pickup technology that I've actually applied for a patent for. It has double magnetic pickups inside the body. It's kind of, it sounds very clear and dynamic. Different than the piezo pickups that are in every other electric violin on the planet. Except one that was made in 1959 by Leo Fender that I found out after I invented my thing. I was all disheartened. Oh man, Leo Fender, of course the genius Leo Fender, the great guitar maker, had nailed the violin. But at the time, it turned out nobody was interested. He put them out in the market and only got like a couple hundred orders. And he said, screw that, never even fulfilled the orders. I'm not going to make it. The world's not ready for an electric violin. I'm not going to beat my head against the wall. So there's about 8 prototypes that float around in antique shops. I've heard of, there's a guy in England that has one, Ben. When I first heard his, I was like, wow. So for a while in my R&Ding, I got a hold of the patent for Leo Fenders back from 1959. And I said, oh, I see where I'm really close. I just kind of intuited, figured it out myself. And I said, well, his patent's long overdue, long expired, so let's see if I can just improve on it and repatent it, which I did. I got the output much better. I had 2 pickups like a guitar. Like a guitar has pickup options that have different sounds. You can hit them with a switch, put your hand real fast, and move some things around to make it very ergonomic. And I'll be showing those things off here too. I'm pretty proud of it. The patent has not gone through yet. The attorney, Jose, keeps me informed about those things. It takes a long time. So watch for further developments here, and I'll be glad to share them with you. My goal is always to inspire people to play music more and have more music in their life and have it be not a nervous, anxiety-driven thing like it is in classical music, and sometimes fiddling too, where you got to memorize all those songs and make sure you remember them, or or play them perfectly in the class Vivaldi and not mess it up, and all this stress and stuff. I think that everyone should be able to pick up their instrument and just play the darn thing. Whether they know the song or not, they should know enough to be able to figure it out and play something that backs the song up or accompanies the song, or be able to take the heat or take a ride or take a solo when they point at you, and not freak out and know what to do. Just kind of soup up the background stuff and play something. I think that people should be able to show up to picking parties, like bluegrass parties, where you bring a dish to pass and everybody plays their music around the campfire. And if you don't know the songs, it's okay. You should be able to follow along and follow the guitar player, follow the bass player, and hear the basic chords, 3 chords, just like we goofed with here, and be able to noodle around and play something in the background. Or you should be able to show up to church and play a simple song and play long tones to support the singing or something. Shouldn't have to freak out if you don't know the song and run away and hide. So that's my goal. The formula is called the Fiddle Jam Freedom Formula. That's my thing here, my core message. Pick up your damn fiddle and play. That's what I say. All right? Don't be nervous about it. And if you hang out with me long enough, you'll get the hang of it. So, and watch for more developments on that too here. So, amen. Hope everybody has a good week and they're all blessed. And hope you can do some swamp fiddle and let me know what you think. All right. See you around.